Hello everyone and welcome back to Two Tickets Please. Today we're going to be going over our trip from Malaga to Antequera with Renfe's Media Distancia, which is their cheapest and slowest train that you can take, and comparing that to our trip back where we took Avlo, which is their low cost but high speed carrier. So here we are at the Malaga Maria Zambrano train station, and here you can see all the different types of trains. It's great to take a look at them and see how different they are. Our train is going to be heading to Sevilla as the final destination, but we'll be making a couple of different stops, one of them being Antequera. So this is media distancia, so it's not as fast, which means that something that would usually take about 20 minutes with the high-speed train is going to take about an hour and 10 minutes for us. We've gone through security. Here you can see a bunch of people lining up to get on Irio to go to Madrid. You can see there are a lot of places to sit down and it's quite big and spacious. There's also a small shop, cafe, where you can buy a coffee and stock up before you get on the train. So, our boarding process was a bit different than usual as everyone suddenly started heading to the train and getting on the train, and we realized that none of the lights were on and nobody was checking our tickets, and we thought this was quite strange. So, when everyone had basically sat down and it was 5 minutes before departure, suddenly some of the crew came on and told us that we all needed to get off of the train as the train was not yet ready for boarding. So, everyone took all their bags and left. And we were waiting a couple of minutes and they cleaned up a bit, put all the lights on, but they didn't check our tickets. So I'm not sure if that happens on all of the Media Distancia trips or if this was just our case. You can see here that the seats are a bit older, but they're still really good condition for how old the train is. There is a very sturdy tray table. And this train is also much smaller than the usual trains as there's only three carriages. You can see there is plenty of space to put your bag up top. There's also plenty of leg room and a kind of weird seat back pocket that you can't really put things in. So I'm not quite sure what their purpose is. Maybe it's just for putting like a water bottle or something. There's a lot of space. You can put a laptop or something down here. So maybe you can watch something on your very long train trip. The seats recline quite generously, as you can see from the video. And I will say that they are quite comfortable. You can see from the footage here that this is the second time that we got on the train as the lights are now all on. So our tickets, as mentioned, were extremely cheap. Taking the high-speed train would have cost 20 euros each way per person versus the media distancia, which is only 6. Now let's take a look at the bathroom. So it's not the most modern bathroom that I've seen on a train. It looks a bit old and worn down. However, it's been kept very clean. And the one thing that was great compared to Renfe's high-speed train, the Ave, with those generally there are usually problems in the bathroom with the toilets getting clogged and not being able to be used properly, whereas this didn't happen on this trip at all. We did have some beautiful views going through the mountains, so that was one of the highlights of this trip. There's not really much to do on the train as there is no food cart either. So there's no food cart and no extra services where they're selling any food. So you really do need to bring your own food and drinks, especially if you're going to be taking the trip from Sevilla to Malaga or Malaga to Sevilla, as that's over 3 hours that you're going to be on the train. So here we have arrived at Antequera Santa Ana, which is not actually inside of the town of Antequera, so you will need to take a taxi to get there. So you can see here are the numbers for you in case you need to book one ahead of time. So here we are documenting our trip from inside of Antequera, taking the high-speed train, the Avlo, from Antequera to Malaga. So this is going to be a much shorter train trip. We actually had booked Avant instead of the Avlo. Avant is also one of the variations of the high speed train that Renfe has. It's not the fastest that they have, but instead, Avlo arrived, which we have taken and documented, so you can check that out on our channel. So the first difference is that there's obviously a lot more carriages available. So there's about 8 carriages usually, and compared to the 3 on the other train, so there's a lot more seats. It's new and modern, though you can see that it is much smaller. The tray table is smaller, but still very sturdy if you need to do work on it, which a lot of people were doing. There's also a coat hook where you could hang a coat or a handbag. Back pockets. Again, we had these very strange back pockets that don't seem like you can really put anything at the back of them. There were some adjustable headrests, so that is great if you're planning on taking a longer trip and you might want to take a nap. They also had power outlets, so you can still charge your phone or your laptop while you're on the train. And here you can see there's also just as much space as the previous train provided, so a lot of space for you to put your bags up. We also had overhead lights, and here you can see the power outlets more clearly. So on this carriage, there was no food cart available either, but they do have vending machines in between the different carriages. So here you can see there are a bunch of snacks available as well as some soft beverages. Keep in mind that you won't be able to use cash on these. You'll have to use card instead to pay. Now let's take a look at the bathroom. The bathroom is looking a bit more modern, but very similar to the other bathroom. You can see they have a bunch more gadgets and signs and everything, but in the end, it was pretty similar to the other bathroom. Again, it was kept pretty clean throughout the ride, so it had been kept clean throughout the entire journey from Madrid to Malaga. So we will be arriving in Malaga very soon. So here you can see the differences between the two different services that are provided. And for me personally, I don't mind taking the Media Distancia, especially for the price that it's offered for. If it's for something that's about an hour, I'm not sure that I would take it for about 3 hours for a really short distance. In that case, it might be better to just take the high speed train instead. But for some short distances, to go to some local towns, I think it is still a great option. Please be sure to like and subscribe. It really helps our channel. You can check out our other videos where we do our train reports with Irio, Renfe, Wigo, and you can also check out our flight reviews as well.